I'm Claire from Created the Ottaway. I'm an independent demonstrator for Stampin' Up in the UK. Thank you for joining me. Today's make is a little bit different. It uses some products from the mini catalogue that lasts right up to December. If you haven't got one, get in touch with your local demonstrator. It's not only full of some lovely new products, but it's got some great ideas inside as well. So let me show you the card. It's a little bit different because it's a reverse pop-up gatefold. So this is the gatefold bit, but that's actually the back of the card. Okay, so are you ready? Are you ready for this? Ta-da! Look at those lovely gnomes. So the card ends up like this, and this is like your pop-up bit. So if I show you it standing, it will stand like that, which obviously from this camera angle you can't see, but it looks like that. So I've used a number of different dies and stamps. I just really went for it on this card. I'm going to show you the same card, just a simpler version, but if I talk you through what I've used on here, so you can see it's like the gatefold is the W or the M bit on the back, and then the pop-up bit is this. I have used, let me show you, I've used Jingle Jingle Jingle, this lovely stamp set, just for the word in there. I have used the Kindest Gnome set. I've used some of the stamps for the sentiments, and I've used the dies, definitely the dies from the gnome set to do my 3 lovely gnomes. And then I've used some of these tree dies from the Tree Lot dies set. So that's a bit of a mouthful as well. So basically I've got some Christmas trees and stuck them on there. I've used rectangle dies as well. I've used the sentiment from the Jingle Jingle Jingle, cut out this bit, and that's it. And then the background, I've used the 3D Fern embossing folder, but you can make it much more simpler than that one, and it will still be a wow. Where do you write your personal message? Well, it folds like that or like that, so you can put it in a 6x6 envelope, but you can write your message still inside. You can put a panel on there if you want to make it a bit more decorative. I decided not to because I really wanted the focus to be on the front, and so that they really look at the card. The only thing that I did notice after I made it is that although it reads "'Tis the season to be," when it's open, when it's shut, it's backwards. But hey, no mistakes in crafting, just happy accidents. So I'm really loving this gnome set. I love the toadstools, big fan of those. The trees from the Tree Lot dies I really like as well. I just used some scraps of card that was lying around near me, and these gnomes, what's not to love? To make their hands, I've just used one of the noses on either side on the middle guy, and he's just slightly 3D, whereas the other two are flat. So, should we have a go at making a version of this? So the papers, we're going to let the papers do all the talking this time. So the gnome papers, I've just got some odds and ends left really. Double-sided as ever, really beautiful papers, not just for Christmas. Toadstool one is lovely, isn't it? But the other side is just as lovely, so that's really tricky. That side is lovely. This side is lovely. Oh, these ones, the dies actually fit around the gnomes, so that's handy. And then you've got that on the other side. And then of course you've got these lovely ones here that you need to fussy cut, but it's worth it because they come out really good. And the other side is trees. Don't have to be Christmas trees, could be anything. So we are going to use pool party card. You want a whole A4 sheet, and we are going to use this pattern. Now I've picked this pattern because it exactly matches. You know what Stampin' Up are like with coordination? Absolutely amazing. So I don't even have to think about it. I know that that's going to go. The other side is the big toadstools, which I'm not too worried about cutting up. That's a first for me, isn't it? So you're going to get your A4 sheet. It's roughly 11 3/4 wide. So, but don't worry about the sizing of your A4 too much, because I'll show you what we're going to do. We're going to turn our A4 sheet so that the shorter end is at the top, and we are going to cut it right the whole length at 5 7/8. Okay. Now that gives you that strip that you won't need at the moment, but you will need in a bit. So put it somewhere safe. Is that gone right? Yeah, 5 7/8. Then you're going to need your bone folder, and you're going to fold this in half. So you could mark it on your trimmer, but it's just as easy to put it right up to the edge. Make sure your edges are joined, and then using your bone folder, just flatten the crease, just like so, and turn it over so that both sides are done. Okay, so that's a basic square card that will fit in a 6x6 envelope. Now we're doing a W card or an M card, whichever way around you want to do it, or you want to think of it. Where is our original? So it's going to be like that. So just have that in mind when you do it. So I'm going to open mine out so that this crease is on the inside, and I'm going to fold back either side. So again, I'm not using my trimmer. I am just going to fold back to the edge there, and I'm just going to flatten this down as well. Now I can see, I don't know if you can see, but I've got paw prints on my paper from my little kittens. But I'm going to persevere because I'm going to cover that up with designer series paper. So that's one side. Now I'm going to do the other side. So I'm just going to flip it over. Yep, definitely cat paw prints on there. And just line it up this side. Just to the edge. And then just go over it with my bone folder again. And I'm just going to go over all the creases and make sure that they're really happy. Both sides, like so. And then just that middle one. Okay. Like so. So that is your card. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to do the strip that pops up. Now, depending on your card and how accurate your A4 sheet is, size-wise, because sometimes they're like a little 16th smaller or a 16th larger, you can adjust the band to that. I'll explain in a minute. So take this piece, and you are going to cut the whole length at 1.5 inches. So you've got a strip of card that's 1.5 inches all the way down, like so. That leaves you with that you don't need. So just put that to one side. So this is your 1.5 inch strip. I am going to cut it off at 8 inches because I'm not going to need more than that. So now I've got a piece that's 1.5 by 8 inches. Okay, just like this. So I'm going to do my first score at 1 inch. Like so. And then I'm going to do another score at 3.25. Now bearing in mind this is going to be your pop-up bit. So what I'm going to do now, I've just done those 2 score lines. I'm going to bring my card back in, and I'm just going to look at where this is going to go. So this 1 inch bit is going to fold over and be stuck onto there. So you can lay your card flat and see. So that's going to be stuck on there. And then this bit is going to do exactly the same as this. So I think that if I get my pencil, I'm just going to put little marks. I want to make sure that is at 1 inch. And I also know that my pop-up bit is going to be sort of around here, because this middle section comes out like that. So I've just put faint pencil marks just to see if it is right. So I'm going to, got my card like this, I'm going to flip it round and I'm going to look where 1 inch is. So my little pencil mark is there and 1 inch is about there. So it's just slightly off. So I'm going to mark it at my pencil mark. Okay. So there. And I'm just going to bring that back in again. So that lines up with that. And that lines up with that. So you've got a score line on both of those, so that when you fold this and fold this here, it's like that. Like a belly band, but not, because it's not going all the way around. And I just want that to be about there. So I'm just going to score that as well. This is what I mean about not being precise about your inches. If you start off with the 1 inch and a 3 1/4, you can see roughly where the other one's going to be. Okay. So I've done a second score line there. So if I bring that back in, now my gatefold is going to go like that. So I'm just going to lay that flat and make sure that that fits across there. And then I've got this bit that's going to pop out. Okay. So that gets folded like so. So that when it's stuck down on there, it comes out like that. Okay. So put that to one side. Don't worry about it too much at the moment. We're going to add some panels to this. So my panels are going to be, let's have a look. Let's measure 1. So they're about 3. They're not far off 3. So I'm going to do it at, well, shall I do it 1/8 smaller or 1/4 of an inch smaller? Let's have a look. And that is 5 7/8. So they're roughly 3, or just under 3 by 5 7/8. So I'm going to do a panel that is 2 3/4 or 2 7/8. Let's do 2 7/8 because I can cut it down, I can't add to it. So I've done 2 7/8, and I'm going to do this, the length at 5 3/4. Okay, so let's check this one first. Bring my card back in. So that fits on, but it doesn't give much of a border. So I'm going to trim it down a bit more. So it's going to be 2 3/4. Okay. So not much off, just that extra edge. Let's have a look at that there. 2 3/4 by 5 3/4, and that sits really nicely and gives me an edge all the way around. Now, while I'm there, I'm just going to look at the others and see if they're all the same. They should be all the same, but just in case, I'm just checking them now. So that's my first panel. My second panel is this bit left over. So what did I decide on? 2 3/4 by 5 3/4. Okay, so that's going to go next. there's that one. This is where you start messing about matching them up. Don't worry, Claire. So I need 2 more of those. So I'm just going to cut those off. So that was 2 3/4 by 5 3/4. 2 3/4 by 5 3/4. There you go. So I've got 4 panels. So I am going to glue those on. You could follow the pattern across if you want to. I'm not too worried because the focus is going to be on the pop-out bit anyway. So let's glue these on. And I'm using Tombow glue just because it gives me a little bit of wiggle. And who doesn't love a little wiggle? So this one's going to go on this side. Just like that. Oh, nearly done it. So what I need to do is glue the 2 back ones first. That was so lucky. Ooh. And I will explain why in a minute. So glue the 2 back panels first. Because nothing is being added to them. They're just going on like that. How lucky is that? Look, they match. Ta-da! As if by magic. Okay, now these 2 panels are going on here, but the first thing we're going to do is stick this in place. So the piece that is the first score line, we're going to put some glue on the back of that. And we are going to put that, line that up with that score line and make sure that that's stuck. Then we can add the panel over the top because it will hide the little mechanism tab. Okay, just like so. I think I want that bit on. I'm distracted now by the pattern. Okay, let's do the other side at the same time. Got glue everywhere. Just put some glue on this tab. Like so. Now this one that's glued, I'm going to put that on there. Just like that. That's better. That going that side. All I kept seeing was 2 reindeers' bums together. Can't have that. Need to focus on the pop-up bit, the fun bit, not the reindeers. Okay. So this one is going on this side. Oh, that's better. Okay, so this does go flat so that when you fold it back this way, it's almost flat, not quite, but almost. Okay, like that. Just needs a little bit of help. So that is your card base done. Now it's the decorating bit. So if I stand that up, you can see that that comes right out, and we're going to put a pop-up piece on there and decorate the 2 side panels. But that goes down like that. And then you can turn it over like so. Just make sure all the creases are just right. Okay, let's decorate it. So I've cut up some pieces already. I'm going to do a similar layout to my original card. I'm going to put 2 of the stitched rectangles on the side and the bigger one on here. And some of the shapes from the other pieces of paper. So I've got a lovely little gnome there. I've got a toadstool house, which can go on there. I've got a lovely gnome there. Don't want him to be exactly the same. He could maybe go there. So he's opposite. I've also got a couple of these little toadstools that I've fussy cut out just to add a bit of depth. And this teeny tiny little one here. And what else can we add? We need some sentiments, don't we? Let's have a look back at the sentiments on here. So we've got Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. That looks like quite a nice one to put on this one. So let's stamp that in the middle and then stick everything around it. Now, do I want to make that pop out or do I just stamp it straight on? I think I'm going to stamp it straight on. So I have got that. And what colour? I think red's too harsh. We got pool party. Actually, let's do it in Pacific Point. So that's the same colour as the gnome. So that might be quite nice. Let's see if I do that. So Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I'll put that over to one side because I know. There you go. That this is gonna go on there. I'm gonna raise that up slightly with some dimensions. Just so that it stands up and it hides my little smudge that I've just done with my impatience. So I've got a few dimensionals going on the back of my toadstool that I die cut. And that is going to go just about there. So you can see it says and like that, and then maybe that'll go behind. So if I put a bit of glue behind on my fussy cut piece, that's going to go like that. And that's going to go on the top. Glue's coming up like so, and that teeny tiny one, ooh, just next to it I think. Let's put a little spot of glue there. I think the glue's given up. It's sticking to me rather than the... Okay, let's use that. Okay, so that's going to go on there, and then you can write your sentiment on your personal message on there actually. So I'm going to put some glue on this middle square because I don't want it to stick anywhere else, and that will go on there, just like that. And then that is automatically raised up. Now these little gnomes, I feel like they need something to say or something to do. So this one says Merry Christmas. Ooh, what can he say? He could say warm wishes. Let's use that. Warm wishes. So again, again, we're going to use the Pacific Point, which is a very juicy ink pad. Okay, make sure I've got it the right way around. Warm Wishes, and I'm going to make him stand out by putting him on dimensionals as well. So no real stamping other than the sentiments, and the card is still a bit of a wow, isn't it? Just put him in the middle. Okay, so that's going to go on there. I feel like it needs a bit of glitter or bling to make it extra Christmassy. I'll have to get my Wink of Stella out and add it. Okay. Now this gnome, he needs to say something as well. What could he say? You know me so well. Warm wishes, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Oh, I don't know. I think I need to go and look through my sentiments before I decide. But let's stick him on anyway. Because actually I might give him some snowballs to be chucking up in the air. That would be a bit more fun, wouldn't it? I'm sure I have got some little round glittery balls that can add on to that. And that just goes on there. I'm just going to stick that on, and I think then we are done for our quick make compared to the detailed one. So this is a reverse pop-up gatefold. Let's move all these bits out the top way. So when it stands up, it's like that. When it closes, it's like that and like that. So yeah, he definitely needs a bit of fun, doesn't he? Because he looks quite cheeky. He looks like he needs a bit of fun. So that would be my next thing to do. But yeah, ta-da! Ta-da! Okay, let's show you the other one as well that's got more detail. So you've got this one that's got die cut sides and some extra silver frame in each of the rectangles, and then you've got the and the embossing folders used on the background for the panels, and you've got this equally as lovely Christmas gnome card using the designer series paper. I hope you've enjoyed watching. Thank you very much for staying with me, and I hope to see you very soon. I'd love to see your makes, so if you feel like sharing them with me, you can send them to me at createdtheottaway@gmail.com. You can find me on Facebook or Instagram. I love to chat crafts, so yeah, get in touch. Thanks for watching. Bye.